The industry started with just a few farms, and to date, we have more than 300 farmers, growers, flower growers, and exporters in the industry in Kenya. And when the industry began, it was mostly male-dominated. But right now, we have more women who have been elevated to status of decision makers in the industry, and women owners of flower farms and flower business related, like maybe in logistics, amongst others. So, as we speak, we are about at 71% female representation in the industry compared to male representation. And and the industry really supports like a great chunk of individuals. We have 200,000 people employed directly by the industry, about 1.5 employed indirectly, 1.5 million employed indirectly, and the industry impacts 4 million in the value chain and other related areas. So we'd like to know, as much as the role of women and status of women in this industry has changed over the years, it has evolved, and you're seeing more representation of women in the industry. There are still those challenges that women are experiencing that perhaps is hindering their performance in the industry, or just maybe even positive things that they're experiencing that are elevating their status and position and performance in the industry and in the global front. So we'd like to know, and in light of the recent International Women's Day, and also that we have possessed March as our month of women, we'd like to also know more and see how we can gain inspiration from these wonderful women who have made it and who are actually doing a lot of things in the industry. So welcome, ladies. And maybe the first thing that I'd ask, Ruth, maybe tell us a little more about yourself, your organization, and your journey so far.
Thank you, Lena. We appreciate for being here today. My name is Ruth Muiruri, like Lena said. I work for Wilmar Flowers. The business was begun in 1996 by my father, but I joined the business in 2001. We work with smallholder farmers, about 1,000 of them. We train them how to grow the flowers, and then we buy from them and export to the Netherlands. The business has grown from 20 growers to 1,000 growers at the moment, with 10,000 million stems and counting.
Okay, thank you for that. Mary, could you also tell us a bit about yourself and the business?
Good morning, everyone. As you've heard, my name is Mary Githinji, director and founder of Lamiflora Limited, a company founded in 2019. Having worked in the industry for over 30 years, I decided to start a flower business. We are located in Kinangop, specifically, in Nyandarua County, and it has been an interesting journey with a few of challenges, but we are overcoming and we are learning a lot as we move on.
Okay, so maybe as you discussed, can you tell us maybe like the key things, those pivotal moments that you've experienced in your leadership journey? What are the successes that you've experienced?
Okay, one of the pivotal moments was my leaving employment. I worked with the government as a regulator for over 20 years before I decided to open the company. And now moving from being an employee to an employer with several workers, and also going into production and seeing my first consignment. Shipping my first consignment was one of the moments I'll never forget.
And how about you, Ruth?
I think for me, it's when my dad transitioned. He's no longer with us, so we had to learn how to go on with the business, despite him not being around. Because one used to be able to go talk to the farmers, tell them what they need to grow, convince them what they need to do so as we're able to get the produce. So I had to transition from the back office to the front office to be able to talk to the farmers, explain to them what we need to do, and for them to be able to believe that the business will continue despite him not being around.
Okay, so coming from Kenya, which is largely a patriarchal society in terms of our culture and how we do our things, What are some of these things? Maybe if I could start with you, Mary, what are some of these things that you experienced, challenges that came in, even as you were starting your own company, even in terms of even employees, your suppliers, etc., etc.? What are some of these things that maybe you'd say you experienced differently compared to maybe like the male counterparts in the industry?
I won't say I had challenges per se, but one of the key issues was to form teams that can work with you to achieve your goals. And coming from the point at where I started the farm, and the location, it is not a location where people are used to the flowers, they were used to fruits and vegetables, mainly vegetables, I would say. So to get the team and workers who will understand the products you are introducing to your farm was a challenge. But after lots of training and also being present and working with them, now I have a good team whom I work with. So that was one of the challenges. The other challenges has been the change in weather conditions, which have really affected everyone, where you have projections and then in the course of that, you find you're not able to meet your targets and the client is waiting. But the key here is to inform the clients on time what you're experiencing so that they can be able to make other arrangements.
Okay. And Ruth, having taken over from your father, and I know you took over from a very young age, you had transitioned from the university into now the managing a business. How was that for you? Even like balancing with the staff and even like the suppliers amongst others?
I think for me, the most challenging thing by then was to be able to integrate with the people who were already working in the business. When I came in, the systems, the back office were not as good. So the people who were there definitely liked it that way. But now when you come in and put changes or be complaints about you changing too many things, and eventually some people had to leave. But yes, we got the integration on. I think the other challenge was being able to go to the farms and talk to the people on the ground, especially the agronomists who are working with the growers, and to ensure that they're doing the correct thing. Mm-hmm. At some point, they would think, like, since you are too young at that particular time, where you're the ones who are telling us what we need to do, no. But it was, with time, it was fine.
Okay. You've mentioned, but instances where maybe the staff rebelled against you?
Yeah, it happened when I joined in at 201 at some point, but we had to streamline things, so some had to leave.
Okay, so they left because now they could not toe the line?
I think it's because they had benefits of the systems not working, so the benefits were no longer there.
Okay. Mary, have you experienced such instances as well?
I would say I've not experienced such instances because I think creating teams was, I said creating teams and seeing who can be able to do what and the strengths of each person that I have. And then just being there and talking to them so that you can all agree you need to move in this direction. So I wouldn't say I've had any challenges when it comes to handling or any discrimination or anything like that.
So maybe if you can tell us, have you had mentors in the industry, and have you worked around, and are you a mentor yourself?
Yeah, I would say I've had people who've worked with me through this journey. And having been in the industry for those many years, I had a lot of networks from the other players. And when I left, I was able to get assistance and mentorship from people who've actually worked with me from production, establishing the farm, and also marketing. I've had that advantage.
Okay. How about you, Ruth?
In terms of running the business, I don't think we've had so many mentors, but a few along the way, not in a very consistent way. So we have to learn a lot of things on our own. But in the market perspective, yeah, there are quite a number of mentors who are there, and one has worked with us for the last 15 years.
Okay. How many markets are you serving at the moment?
At the moment, we supply the auction at the Holland. Yeah.
And Mary?
At the moment, I'm doing direct sales most of the times, and considering our product, and I'm afraid today we don't have any of our products here. So we are doing a lot of fillers for bouquets. So we have a lot of both local and external clients who are buying our fillers to do bouquets for their supermarkets.
Okay. So looking at both of you, you're both mothers, and coincidentally, we have mothers of girls today. And just seeing how critical it is for the mother to be there in the home, especially when children hit teenage. And I know you have 2 teenagers and a young adult, Ruth, and Mary, I know you have 2 adults. How has it been? How have you balanced work life? I mean, just bearing the responsibilities that falls on our shoulders as women. How have you managed to balance your career and then also your personal life?
I always try to create time for my family, to share times. We have dinners together where people share their life for the week. At least every once a week, we are seated somewhere outside the house to share. Number 2, the girls are also getting interested in what I do, so it makes it easier for me. So I find it, it's not very difficult because we have a lot of time together. And if not, when I'm not very busy, I also look for my girlfriends. We have a chat and a laugh, so that it makes it easier. It eases the pressure.
Okay. And Ruth?
I think for me, I've had to learn as I grow up and as you run the business how to delegate. At first, it wasn't always the case. I pretty wanted to do most of the work that I've been doing, but with time, we've learned how to delegate and also delegate even some of the family responsibilities that can be delegated. I know that creates time for us to be with the girls and to spend time together. And also just block some time, like a week or 2, where just the 4 of us together. Thank you.
Okay. And maybe if I will just go back to the career bit, maybe what can you say are opportunities for ladies who are also interested in becoming farm owners at some point and just maybe also participate in the industry, let's say at the capacity of an exporter or in the logistics chain? What are the opportunities that you see in the industries for upcoming ladies?
I think the industry is pretty open to women in being able to do run a business and do export. There are not too many barriers as far as women and men are concerned, compared maybe to other spaces. As long as you are able to put your quality, your produce has good quality, and you have a market, the rest of the industry will be able to support. So it's a pretty doable thing for any lady who wants to get into this space.
Okay. Mary?
Yeah, I would really encourage women to come in. The business is good there, and the opportunities are also there. As I was looking at the bouquet, I was seeing there are no fillers, but if you look at it from the way the world is moving, there's a lot of opportunity to do even what we are doing, because the world is changing, and Kenya is a country, there is a lot of labor, so you find most of the companies are shifting towards doing bouquets for export to Kenya, and they'll need those fillers. So I would encourage as many ladies as possible to come into the business.
Okay. I know we have discussed logistics from the time we began this morning to up to this point. But as a business owner, are there maybe other challenges or successes that you've experienced personally on a personal front with regards to logistics and just delivery of the product, amongst others?
I think post-COVID, we had a lot of challenges in terms of logistics, not just the cost, but also the availability of the space. And in the last few months, I think, even pretty from last year also, we've had issues with shipments being delayed, and in the process, the quality is not good. Mm-hmm. So we have had to ship flowers earlier than we'd like to, just to ensure that when they get to the airport, even if there is a delay like 1 or 2 days, they'll still get to the market on time.
Okay.
So that has been a pretty constraint that has been facing us.
Okay. Mary?
When it comes to logistics, no major issues apart from what Ruth is talking about, the freight, and you find that the delays are there because of probably you have to ship to bring the produce earlier than you had projected to do, and that now comes with a lot of, you have to hire so many other people to come and assist in processing of the product so that you get to the market. You get to the airport at the time it's required. And but rather than that, I have not experienced any issues with the logistics, especially at the clearing houses. I found it easier for me.
Okay. And maybe if I could bounce back to you, Ruth. I know you're a champion for social impact. Could you tell us more about it?
From the way we do our business, it's actually a social impact aspect or oriented, because we look for farmers who can grow the flowers we want them to grow. Plus, in the climatical condition is also right for the flowers. So we organize them into groups and they register as a self-help group. Then we meet with them regularly. We get for them an agronomist who is on the ground, who lives over there and ensures that the quality is good. And also after that, we go now buy the flowers directly from them and we export them, and we pay them within 7 days. What has been one of the impacts that I've seen in the past is when we transformed from paying cash. In the past, we used to pay the farmers through cash, but now at some point it became risky. The money also became a lot, and we had to pay them through banks. So a lot of women managed to open bank accounts that they didn't have. About 5 to 10% had to drop off because they were not allowed to open bank accounts by their partners. But overall, a big majority of the women were able to transition to that.
Okay. So how would you quantify the impact in terms of even change of life for these women at this particular point in time?
What I've seen for them is being able to take their kids to school without having issues of kids being sent away from school because they don't have school fees. The other thing is that they are able to, women also have chamas of their own where they're able to contribute to and be able to impact on on the things they're doing in their day-to-day life. The other thing is seen through the flowers, they become more, because beside banking, the banks are able also to lend them loans.
So the impact maybe you've had, maybe even others building their own homes and things like that, yeah?
Yeah, a number of them also have built homes, and also they've done renovations in where they live. They've also been able to get capital to grow other products that they wanted to grow. Because of the nature of the way we operate, they only farm in a very small space of land, probably an eighth or a quarter of land. So the rest of the land is left for the family. They can be able to do something else.
Okay. And Mary, I know definitely Lamiflora has had an impact on the community around. How would you quantify this? And maybe what are some of the things that you've seen that have changed positively since you set up your farm?
Where I'm coming from, I found a scenario where most of the women are the breadwinners of the families, and those are the kind of ladies I usually hire. And we've worked with them. Initially, they were looking like they were shy to come to work in a flower farm. But after incorporating them, they are very much willing. Every day, I get new ladies wanting to come and work for us. And you find, being the sole breadwinners, you find they are very appreciative of what we are doing. And I find an impact because we usually give advance payment during school fees and soft loans for them. And you find the women really appreciate that the kids are going to school.
Okay. So what's the percentage of female workers versus male workers maybe in your farm?
I usually insist of the 1/3, where 1/3 in my farm is usually men, and the other third is usually male. So I'm very persistent on that. And I like the soft skills in women, especially when it comes to grading. And some of them are doing what initially, apart from spraying, of course, they're doing what initially looked like a very tough job. And I really appreciate, and they're willing to learn more.
Okay. So you said a third male and 2/3 female, or the other way around?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So it's very interesting actually that we're having this discussion, and not to say that the boy child is not important in this. The boy child actually is an enabler and supporter of women to get into the industry, but for a long time, coming from a patriarchal society, I think the role of the woman had been kept at the backseat, so to speak. So it's actually very, very good and very encouraging to see women who are leading in the industry, and women who have come from really, you've come up the ladder to now owning your own business. So maybe if I could throw the questions back to the audience. If you have any question, maybe you could ask the ladies to respond to it.
Thank you. Once again, my name is Ruth from the Kenya Flower Council. So very good job by the ladies in the flower sector and what they're doing, Mary and Ruth. Congratulations to the two of you. My question is on sustainability initiatives in your farms. Maybe you could elaborate what innovative measures you've put in place in line with sustainability.
Mary, would you like to take that?
One of the key issues on sustainability when it comes to our side is the way we are taking care of our environment. And from the environmental perspective, our farm is 100% solar. We are not using any fuel energy and even electricity. And when it comes to the social issues, we are always having our ladies trained on how to manage themselves and to build more confidence on themselves, and also encouraging them to save their money. We do a lot of trainings, not just for the ladies, we do trainings even for the men. And yes, let me stop there.
Okay. And Ruth, maybe in response to that?
I think for us, what we've done mostly is train the farmers on how to grow the flowers more sustainably, from the use of chemicals to use of fertilizers, and also when it comes to how to take care of the land in terms of the riparian land, and also to be able to understand the impact of whatever they do has an impact on the globe. So they need to think about what they're doing more carefully. So that has impacted in them reducing use of chemicals and using more sustainable methods of production.
Okay. Do we have any other question?
Okay, before I ask my question, I'm Patricia, Astral Aviation. First of all, I'd like to really congratulate you ladies for being in this kind of business. I've visited farms and I know it's not easy. So for me, I really admire that kind of strength. It takes a certain personality to be able to handle farms and to do that kind of business. So I hail you for that. And I'd also like to take the opportunity to tell you also across the room, there are very many ladies here, those who are in freight forwarding and those of us in the airlines. And we can be able to build synergies with you to help you, women helping other women across the chain of logistics and supporting each other. So in the course of the day, maybe we can get in touch. And then my question is, what aspects of digitalization have you embraced in your farms individually?
I think from the beginning for us, we started with simple things like back office, accounting and all, but now we've been able to move even into production by being able to capture data through some apps that have been installed on the farm, and being able to analyze data and get the information. So over the last 3 years, we've used less and less paperwork to deliver information to the office and to be able to gather data on the ground.
Okay. Mary, maybe also, if you...
We started with accounting, but we are in the process of seeing how we can also apply it in production.
Okay. So if there's no other question, maybe just as a parting shot, I'd like to ask each of you to maybe tell us the one greatest lesson that you've learned in your journey to leadership?
Coming from a background where it's a second generation run business, so you didn't start the business yourself, I have had to adapt and learn a lot. And through that, I've had to create what works for me in that space. And for what I learned most in the whole process for me is, I didn't have agriculture background, but data really spoke to me. So I tailored most of my value to be able to bring data from the production side. That makes makes sense in terms of being able to make decisions. So for me, I think you don't have to initially have the passion of what you're working on, but you need to look for that value or that niche that will bring the passion out of you.
Okay. Mary?
It's resilience. When you fall, you just have to wake up and continue.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that has really been powerful. It speaks to me, and I'm sure to very many ladies and even men in the room. So thank you so much, ladies, for your time, and thank you for being open to share with us your stories today. And just to appreciate the fact that you've come today. Please let's appreciate them once again.